I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide, Raw and Unfiltered. Also, as part of Prescription for Your Transformation radio show with Star Worldwide networks that I've had for the last 7 years, bringing to you the authentic genius and the authentic voices of all the incredible guests that I have on my shows, because you're definitely going to want to hear their magic, because it will be transformative for you. And here's the thing, in this day and age, there's so much information out there that, quite frankly, and this might upset some of you, is that we no longer have an excuse to be sick. Because truthfully, by many people's opinions, less than 1.5% of all diseases are strictly genetic. What does that mean? All diseases, or most of them, are really as a result of how your genes get expressed as a result of the environment that you're in, whether it's the toxic environment, the chemicals you get exposed to, and even stress. And so the idea is that how do you reliably navigate all these situations so that you can find optimum health? And that's my job. My job as the doctor's guide, is to give you the opportunity to find out the information that's going to absolutely support you. See, I don't know you personally, but I do know the process by which we can make better decisions for ourselves. And that's what we do on the show. It's role playing. You can relate to these roles. You can see yourself in these roles, whether you're the person showing up with a problem or you're the person, guiding someone else. And the truth again is that it's up to you to make the right decisions. And it's also up to you to understand that on this show, you might get triggered. You may judge, my guests as far as what it is that they're sharing with you, but they're sharing it with a purpose. So you get to relate to this. And so you can uncover how to navigate that process to make better decisions for yourself. We're not promoting a product. We're not promoting a person. We're just sharing a process so you can optimize health. And that is my mission. So I'd like to introduce two amazing individuals that I've had the pleasure to connect with. I've discovered their magic, and I'm excited to share their magic with you as well. Dr. Stephanie, just do a brief introduction about yourself, who you are, what you do, and then we'll go with Quintus, and then we'll go into the 6-minute role play after that. And then after the role playing, we'll kind of unpack it so that people get some insight and some action step that they can take for themselves. Dr. Stephanie, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, my entire name is Dr. Stephanie Reid. I am a naturopath and a wellness coach, been in practice for almost 20 years, and my specialty is helping women over 40 live their best life through spirit, mind, and body connectedness, through coaching, as well as one-on-one sessions, books, and the whole 9 yards. And my passion is to make sure that women over 40 find their purpose.
I love that. And you know what? Truthfully, and I think many women will agree, and most men will have no idea about this, but most women are absolutely underserved in our cultures today. They're forgotten, also partly because of their own choice of being less. And I don't mean less in the sense of lesser person, but making sure they're focusing on everybody else first. And they oftentimes comes last. And that's not how it should be. And so I'm excited that you're doing that for the women out there, because they absolutely deserve someone like you to help them, find their own empowerment to be better moms and everything else. Quintus, share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll start the role playing.
Outstanding. So I am Quintus Macdonald, Executive Director and founder of I Am Recycling Incorporated, created to embrace, educate, and economically empower communities one individual at a time, with the intention of putting an end to recidivism. I am also a serial entrepreneur, invested in multiple things. One company I'm extremely proud of is our company, Jewel Premium Sanitary Napkins, LLC, which we produce the Rolls Royce of feminine hygiene care, as well as being a best-selling Amazon author. That's who I am, Quintus Macdonald in a nutshell.
I love it, and I can't wait for you to share a lot more about your product And I can't wait for Dr. Stephanie to share a lot more about her and what she does and how she changes women's lives. So what role are you playing today, Dr. Stephanie?
I'm playing the role of myself, looking for a resource, a natural resource, because I'm a naturopath, for my clients who come to me that have reproductive issues and are concerned about what alternative sanitary products they can use to heal themselves without adding more toxins. So I'm scouting for a reference for my clients. That's what I'm
So
doing.
then I'm assuming that Quintus is the CEO of the Rolls-Royce company for feminine hygiene pads. Is that correct, Quintus?
I'm not the CEO. We actually have a CEO in place. I am the majority shareholder. We are that. So smart enough to put the right person into that chair of CEO and COO. Absolutely.
So you're basically the CEO of the CEO. I get it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's do the 6-minute role play, and then we'll do a brief, what was that for you? And then we'll unpack it so people can get the insights and the action steps that they can take moving forward. Go ahead, Dr. Stephanie.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Macdonald. My name is Dr. Stephanie Reid. I'm a naturopath and a wellness coach for women, and I have several clients who concerned about starting to use natural feminine hygiene products in addition to what they're doing to heal things like endometriosis and PCOS. What can your product do to help them feel confident that they're not adding more toxins into their already compromised system? How can you help me with that?
Well, hello, Dr. Reid. Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for thinking of us. And I'd like to start off. I can certainly answer all of your questions. I'll be able to do that, but I'd like to know what made you decide to reach out to me initially. What was your rationale for reaching out to us here at Jewel Sanitary Napkins, LLC?
Number one, I personally used your products in the past. I've also shared them with other previous clients. And so I felt that there was a synergy between what I want to do and what your product supports. And so I like to stay natural. If I'm going to give my client a resource, I want it to be in alignment with what they know they're already getting from me. Natural, holistic wellness without the extra stuff that they don't want. And so you came to mind.
Outstanding. Well, we're always welcoming great responses to our product when we ask people to reach back to us and tell us what their rain experience was. And evidently, you have had a tremendous rain experience if you are now suggesting to your current client base. So thank you for that. What I would suggest to begin with would be for your clients to take a look at, number one, go under the bathroom sink or in the cupboard and grab that product that they have been purchasing and take a look at the ingredient list. Go down that list and then go in that same space and look for the various wipes that they may be using. Look for the creams that they may be using for itching and irritation and all of the things that happen prior to menstruation or the things that happen post-menstruation. We want to look at all of the chemicals that are involved that they're putting in this most sensitive area. So beginning with the actual napkin that they're using, prayerfully they're not using a tampon because that's even worse on a whole nother level than the napkins that have these very dangerous 10, 12 letter chemicals in them that no one can pronounce. So we want to take a look at what they've been exposed to first and foremost, so that they have a level of education that they can go and look up these different terms and see what's happening to their body, because we want to treat the entire individual here at RAIN. We want the entire person. So not just getting the product to them, but also helping them to understand, getting an education on why it's important that they remove these chemicals from their body and know that now they have access to a totally chemical-free product that's going to be very comfortable for them and really super absorbent.
Okay. So are you saying that your product is free of chemicals? Chemical free?
Our product is 100% chemical-free. Our absorbency system is a plant-based absorbency system. Even on the outside of the product, when you look at the glue that keeps the product attached to the underwear, the undergarments of the female, that is a plant-based polymer as well. So there's no chemical in that space whatsoever.
Wonderful, wonderful. Can I ask you a question? How long or how absorbent are your pads for my clients that might have a heavy flow? Is there, do you have variations in sizes or absorbencies that would support those different flow rates? This is a concern for women who have heavy flow.
And we got 1 minute left, guys. 1 minute left.
Absolutely. We do have multiple sizes. When we talk about the women that are coming, I mentioned all of the various chemicals. One of the things that we like to help folks understand is we've got the liners, moderate flow, heavy flow, and overnight. We say to women, please take a chance and use the liners during the days that you are not flowing, and then use the moderate or heavy or overnight contingent upon your flow. And we're asking them to do that because of the graphene that is infused in our product is bacteria killing, and it's going to help with their body chemistry throughout the month.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you both. And I'd like to start off with Dr. Stephanie. First of all, what was that for you? What was that all about for you? And I'd love for you to expand a little bit about what your patients are presenting with. What are some of the complaints that they're coming up with? What are some of the questions? And what are perhaps some of the ignorances that they have in regards to this?
Yeah, a lot of my clients come to me with issues of candida, also yeast infection for layman's terms, and a lot of them have PCOS, heavy flow, endometriosis, those types of things. And as I help them clear out their bodies,
I'm sorry,
PCOS.
What is that? What is that?
The acronym, I don't remember the acronym, but PCOS is a hormonal imbalance that causes women to be infertile, but also causes really heavy cycles. Okay. This is also the thing that causes them to have hair where they don't want it, like on their chin, and that kind of, it's a hormone imbalance that affects the reproductive system. Okay, polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's what it is. Okay. And the women who have it, they understand it. So it's very common. And so when I work with women in this space, the thing that we want to do is to help the body heal on its own. And you help the body heal by taking away what it doesn't need and putting back in what it does. So if I can refer them to a sanitary pad that's not going to add additional toxic load, the same toxic load that we're trying to eliminate, then their bodies are going to heal more quickly. And so we need a pad that's going to be absorbent. We need it's going to have some sort of antibacterial property, and we need it to be comfortable, right? We long are the days of mattress pads, right? We don't need those anymore. And so that's what I'm looking for. That was the strength. And I think Quintus gave me an insight into education. And that as a naturopath, I educate my clients, and I want them to know the reason why you need an alternative is because what you're using has 15 different things in it that may be contributing to what you're trying to recover from. And so if we move away from those toxins and replace it with something else, we're moving in the right direction toward your wellness and your wholeness.
Yeah, and what I think, the listener needs to be aware of is that whatever your beliefs are, we have evolved over millions of years in nature. Without these conveniences. And as I like to put it, the bane of convenience today is how inconvenient it becomes when we are unhealthy. And so we take a lot of these things for granted. There's not enough regulation on products like this. And so they're just laden with all sorts of chemicals that, out of convenience and economics are put out there. And the problem is that now with all the intelligence that we have, especially now with AI, we're understanding the impacts of all these chemicals on the body. And one area that is clearly more and very important for women is, when they're in flow and when they are using these pads and potentially causing all sorts of problems, including one thing I learned from Quintus, and he'll expand on this for sure, is that, when the pads are not effectively absorbent, then you have overflow of bacteria, and that causes all sorts of problems. And so love to hear from Quintus, what was that for you? What else would you like to add with what Dr. Stephanie was sharing? And also, once again, just expand on the importance of using a natural product versus one laden with chemicals.
Well, it was exceptional for me. I want to thank Dr. Stephanie. It's obvious that she has experience in this space with her client base, and the fact that we have the capacity to help her when she talks about the bacteria buildup and the moisture buildup. I mean, that in those on the market products, that is a petri dish set up for failure, for dis-ease, discomfort, for women. And it's sad, but 60% of the population here in the United States will end up with having a hysterectomy before they turn 60 years old. So that is that's a tremendous problem. And heavy bleeding, endometriosis, all of these things that even Dr. Stephanie just mentioned that her clients are living with, suffering with, I believe can be directly related to a poor product that's being used. When we talk about reverse flow, the flow is coming out, the product is not removing the flow from the body. Our products do that. We've got an 8-layer system to where the flow is removed from the top layer of the pad, so that when a woman sits back down, she's still comfortable and dry. It doesn't seep through the bottom because of the way the technology that we've used. We've gone to painstaking technology to make sure that our product is going to be comfortable, dry, and protect from accidents. Then we added graphene, which is a 99.9% germ killer. Any bacteria, any germ that it comes into contact with, because graphene is alive and moving, it's going to destroy. So we're destroying bacteria, we're keeping them comfortable and dry, and our price points are beautiful. So we've done
Yes.
Yeah,
the whole thing about affordable is clearly there, and truthfully, I mean, when we are trying to be as healthy as possible, I mean, there's a bit of an uptake in what you have to spend, but ultimately the gain and the ROI is there because you're going to be a lot healthier moving forward. And the listener has to be aware of all these different products out there. I mean, just look at soap and other detergents. Where do you spend most of your time? At least if you're got a good sleep rhythm, 8 hours on a pillow, and you're breathing all those toxins from all those chemicals as well. And so, when we start changing these things, when we start, finding more or natural products, I mean, just think, you're in the shower, if you take showers, and all the chlorine in the water. So it's really important for us. And so it's not always maybe that easy to change certain things, but certainly when it comes to detergents for your laundry, and certainly when it comes to feminine hygiene pads, that's an easy one. What else either of you want to share about, what you want people to have insights of, or know what action steps they can actually take?
I think it's important for listeners to have the insight on how toxins get into the body. They get in through what you eat, what you drink, what you inhale, and what goes through your skin. Your skin is the largest organ of your body. So if you're feeling like, oh, you know, the chemicals on a pad really aren't that serious, they are, because moisture activates chemicals. Chemicals go through your system. They go through your system. They go through your bloodstream, and your whole body is affected when you have chemical exposure for long periods of time. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's an accumulation. It's an accumulation effect. So wearing pads, you know, for 3 years of your life is different than wearing pads for 38 years of your life. So this is where this really becomes important, that women in our age bracket, 40 and over, really consider all of the things that you've been exposed to that now are having an accumulation effect. So having these pads are a game changer, and being in control of that one thing that you can stop putting toxins in your body. Yeah.
No, spot on. Anything else you want to share, Quintus?
I do want to, I misspoke. I gave a bad statistic. I said 60%. It's 40% of women by the time they're 60 will have had a hysterectomy. That number is still far too high.
No,
And especially when, like Dr. Reid just said, when you have other options, and like you said, Dr. Bart, the return on the investment is my health now versus, you know, I've spent 30 years wearing these things. Now I know better. I'm not going to do any better. Well, yes, I can do better too, right now, today, beginning today. So today is a good day to get started.
I love it. Well, Dr. Stephanie Reid, how do people find you?
Well, you find me on all social media by just typing in Dr. Stephanie Reid, but you can also find me on my website, yhp.com. My practice is called Your Healing Place, if that's easier for you to find me. I'm also the author of 2 books, From Panic to Empowerment, and also a course creator. And the thing that's dear to my heart is helping women over 40 find their purpose. And my program is called Unclock Your Creative Purpose. So your biological clock has not done what you do with your life. You now have something else that you can do. Once you realize that it's okay to not feel guilty about being selfish. It's time to take care of you, ladies. And that's my specialty, helping you do just that.
Yeah, spot on. There's no such thing as being selfish when you're taking care of yourself, because when you take good care of yourself, you actually have more empowerment to take care of others. And that's what we need from you women, especially. You just broke up there for 1 second. What's the website again?
Dr. Stephanie, yhp.com. But if you can't find me and you just want to Google me, my practice is called Your Healing Place.
I love it. Awesome. So thank you so much for that, Dr. Stephanie. And Quintus, how do people find you?
You can find, excuse me, our nonprofit at i-am-recycling.org, www.iamrecycling.org. We certainly want to take a look at our wellness campaign and our wellness products. You can go to rec5.jewelpads.com. And you can find my book, He Chose Me for This Journey, which is a story about redemption. You can find that bestseller on Amazon.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Any last comment, Dr. Stephanie, that you want to share?
The last comment that I would share is to be good to yourself. Give yourself permission to take in this information, try something new, be courageous to step beyond your comfort zone. This information that you heard could very well be life-changing for you. You just got to take one step. You got to make the decision though.
I love it. Quintus, any final words?
I love it. Make a decision and then make a move. Make a decision that's going to benefit you. Self-care is absolutely necessary. As Dr. Bart said, we can't take care of others unless we take care of ourselves first. So let's take care of ourselves, family.
Once again, thank you so much, both of you. So insightful. And once again, for the listener, yeah, you do have to make decisions. And the way to do that is, find the reliable sources. And that's part of my job. is curating, educating, and guiding both the consumer, but also my colleague friends out there so that we can begin to do things differently. But you got to find those reliable sources. And my hope is that my doctor colleagues will step up and understand more of what else is out there that can support you, and then guide you and help you with the reliable sources so that you can make better decisions for yourself. Because ultimately, I mean, let's be honest, it's you that has to make the decision. You know, too often we rely on somebody else with those decisions, and they may be absolutely, wrong for you. And so it is about trusting, but we have to verify. And that is my hope, that with this process that you get to better navigate and just tune in to many of the more podcasts out there, find out the relatable and the authenticity of the people that, are on this podcast, so that you can optimize your health, because you know what? You deserve it. I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide podcast, raw and unfiltered. And we will be back. And I once again want to thank Dr. Stephanie Quintus for an outstanding show today. Thank you, and we'll be back.